Macmillan Audio presents Bringer of Dust by J.M. Miro. Narrated for you by Ben Onwukwe. It happened as he expected. He turned his head, and behind him on the path was no one. Czesław Milosz. Lights were going out all over the world. 1883. Chapter 1. Kindred. Alice Quick stood under a ragged plane tree in the gloom of Montparnasse, her hat brim dripping, the collar of her oilskin coat turned high against the rain. She was quiet, dark-eyed. She carried a finger blade hidden in her sleeve, another at her ankle. In one hand she gripped a 4-foot-long iron bar, like a cudgel. A fiacre rounded the corner, clattering and splashing past, its driver hidden, side lanterns swaying. Otherwise Paris was dark. The rain was dark. She looked ordinary, to the ordinary eye. That was the thing about monsters, the real ones always did. She'd been in the city nearly a month, spreading a ripple of unease through any crowd. It wasn't the clothes she wore, the trousers, the stained oilskin coat. In Paris, at least, a woman in a man's clothes drew little interest. Though her knuckles were bigger than most men's, and the backs of her wrists were scarred like a blacksmith's, and there was clay clumped in her tangled yellow hair, none of that mattered. What mattered was the thin crescent of light in her eye, like a blade turned sideways, that warned off most inquiries. 4 months ago she'd killed her partner and friend, shot him in the heart while looking into his eyes, and before that she'd seen horrors that belonged only in fairy tales. Children afflicted with strange talents, and monsters too, real monsters, the kind she couldn't stop seeing even after she'd shut her eyes. She'd been hurt badly by one of those monsters, impaled by a tendril of smoke on the roof of a speeding train. Whatever it was that had infected her then was in her still. In the mornings, she'd awake in pain and press a hand to her ribs, to the old wound of it, imagining some monstrous thing uncoiling there just under the skin, a part of her. Now, a figure in a mud-spattered cloak turned onto the boulevard, walking fast in the rain. It was Ribs. She carried a bull's-eye lantern clipped to a belt at her waist. Alice stepped out of the shadows, and together they hurried to a manhole cover in the street. Alice pried it up with the iron bar, the rain foaming over the edge, over the rusted iron rungs, pouring down into the sudden blackness. Ribs clambered in. Alice followed. And then, clinging to the iron rungs, Alice reached up and dragged the heavy covering back into place, cutting off the rain, and in the darkness she followed her friend down, deep into the catacombs of Paris. "Jesus," she muttered, when she felt her boots collide with the bottom. Her voice echoed back. "Some light here, maybe?" After a moment, the shutter on the lantern opened. It was an old-fashioned candle lantern with a fisheye lens, a beam of weak yellow light illuminating the gallery. Ribs had taken it off her belt and leaned it against the wall. Alice could see the girl drawing back her wet hood, smoothing her red hair. The air was cold, sour. Ribs was grinning, gap-toothed at her. "Not Jesus, just me." Alice gave her a flat look. "What?" "I waited nearly an hour." The girl winked. "It weren't my fault."
Sample complete. Ready to continue?